Hi, my name is Ed Knighton, and I'm your host for this segment of Our Ventura. I'm here with Petrina Sharp, who is an artist and a muralist, and who's been an artist since she was 6 years old. So welcome, Petrina.
Hi.
Hi, great to see you.
It's good to see you.
Great. Today our topic is art and inspiration, inspiring others to create.
Yeah, well, I find that I kind of take that part for granted because I do it on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes the dishes don't get done and the floor doesn't get swept because I'm 5 steps ahead thinking about what I want to create next week. So,
awesome.
But see, I just take that for granted, but I don't, and I am generally a very happy person and go lucky and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed that there are a lot of people that aren't, and it's like it doesn't take much. You can actually kind of change your amount of happiness, so to speak, just by adding a little creativity, you know, for whatever that is for a person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for
That's
you know?
great. I mean, don't we all need more happiness, especially in today's world where we have the news and such bad news? I'm sure we would all agree to be happier on a daily basis. And you're saying to be happy is to create more?
Yeah,
Is that what
create
you're-
something, you know. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
it doesn't necessarily, I mean, you know, for a guy it can be playing with a train set or you know, I mean, there are, you know, I've seen
Doesn't have to
guys
be
who-
like the Mona
No,
Lisa, or I don't
no.
have to create a Picasso.
No, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be anything like
Oh.
that. You know,
Oh.
it can be, you know, tinkering with the motor in the garage. I mean,
Oh.
what is it that is creative that inspires the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, even for like my daughter, sometimes just she's a photographer, but you know, she's been just making little crafts, especially right around, you know, holidays and so forth. That, you know, fun and interesting little projects. So, and she's actually been happier, and that's kind of what inspired this whole idea for the conversation, was that how can a person find just something that they can do at least once a week. I mean, an hour a day would be more ideal, but we don't always have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, there's also a choice in activities, right? Instead of sitting down and watching the tube for an hour, you could be doing something different and creative that would actually make you feel better.
Sure,
Right?
sure. You know, I've as you're speaking, I'm thinking of my father and my grandmother, who are both chefs. And when they would create in the kitchen, now I remember them being happier.
Yeah, see?
Is that the creativity that you're talking about?
Absolutely.
They're putting their thought, their action into an activity that they are producing and creating something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And it can be, you know, that's why I'm saying it doesn't have to be art just because I'm an artist, right? It's what is it that inspires you to create, right?
Exactly. Now my 7-year-old Luke creates with Legos. Yeah, that makes him very happy.
Yeah, my son does that too. He has a different space creation all the time, you know. And
Space creation.
yeah, he likes to, you know, make flying objects.
Yeah,
So anything that flies.
I'm very familiar.
Yeah.
Now, would you recommend that for adults to pick up Legos and
Absolutely.
create?
I love Legos. I remember Legos when I was a little girl in Germany. I mean, that was, of course, back then it was, you know, you could build a house and that was about it. They didn't have all these fun pieces they have now. I think kids really have it great these days. They have all kinds of fun toys, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't, I mean, I sit on the floor and play Legos with him sometimes just because it's just a, you know, it's a fun way for us to interact and do something creative together. And, you know, it also makes him a little more comfortable to tell me about his day, if, you know, because he's leaning towards being a teenager, and I want to make sure that we have that communication that just continues between us, you know, that sometimes that kids tend to get a little more distance when they're teenagers, so I try to be interested in what they are interested in order to keep that communication.
Sure, sure. And you know, I could see this concept also working in the stressful day-to-day corporate world. People at their desks taking 5 and 10 minutes out to create. What would be your idea that they could create with?
Well, there's a new website that I've discovered that is an absolute blast. It's called Pinterest, right?
Pinterest.
And it's
Okay.
basically you create boards with pictures on them, okay? And you can either pull these pictures from other people who were pinning pictures to their boards, or you can pin anything from the from any website anywhere to your boards. You know. And I've created, I don't know, I already have like 35 boards or something.
Wow.
And they're all pictures of things that inspire me, or things that are funny, or things that are sayings, fun sayings, or I think I even have a tips for cleaning, you know, make things quicker and so I can get on with my creating. But you know, just even finding something like that where you could spend a lot of time on that, which is quite addictive, or even just, you know, 10, 15 minutes going, oh yes, I really like that. And you know, it helps define who you are and what it is that makes you happy, right? So I have one category that's just all for things blue, because blue is my favorite color. And you know, so it's a blue door and a blue shell and a blue ocean, and you know, I mean, pictures of just things that are blue. Or pictures of Greece, you know, with the ocean in the background and the little white buildings and blue doors, right? So I mean, it's just doing something that gets those juices flowing that will help you create, and then and the end result is you end up being happier.
Sure, sure. It sounds like for people who are more visual or like to look at pictures, or for people who see sayings, or they could create their own little sayings. Just what you're saying is to take 5 or 10 minutes or even an hour a week to do something creative?
Well, yeah, just find what it is that inspires you and do it. You know, I mean, it's just going to be so many varieties of things. I mean, it's endless, right? I mean, creativity is just creativity. It doesn't have to be creativity as in art creativity. It's just, you know, it's just taking something and create it.
Create it, yeah. Sometimes
build on it.
Sometimes in our society we tend to move away from creativity. Would you say that at times it gets stifled? Like people sometimes are encouraged to not create, or have you know?
Well, okay. I mean, when you're stressing about the bills and the kids and the and everything, you tend to get all upset and stressful, right? So this is a way to de-stress. So you just kind of reverse it. Instead of being the effect of your life, you do something and you create instead, which is, you know, the opposite.
That's great. Very helpful. It's no drugs, no alcohol.
No,
and
you
it's
don't
free.
need it. It's
and you
free.
can create.
You can do it.
And you can have control over it. That's awesome. Well, Petrina, it's been really good to see you again. How can people get in touch with you if they have any questions about creativity?
Heck, yeah, I have 2 websites. You can contact me through those websites, or you can even give me a call. My phone number is 805-290-7393, and my websites are pjmurals.com or petrinaart.com, and it's 1A, Petrina, and then RT. So.
Good to know. Well, thank you for joining us for this segment of Our Ventura.